How do I rank 6 of the same goddamn thing? The new Super Mario Brothers series, also known as... This used to be considered like, oh my god, yes, new Super Mario Brothers. Now it's just genuine junk food. You know, it's not great for you, but it's still, I bought the same damn game 6 times. And most of these aren't the same game, but they're so damn similar that it's really hard to tell them apart. Which I think makes it kind of interesting to actually kind of figure out like, hey, which ones are better than the others? So I have the 6 major games here. Of course, these two are pretty much the same. These two are very similar as well. All 6 are very similar. But there are some that you can make the argument are new Super Mario Brothers games. Of course, Super Mario Run on mobile phones. You know, that uses new Super Mario Brothers U assets. It looks like a new Super Mario Brothers game. But just for the sake of this list, I'm just gonna kind of stick to the games with new Super in the title. You know, that also includes obviously Super Mario Maker and Super Mario Maker 2. That includes, you know, the Super Mario, new Super Mario Brothers style. But yeah, we're just gonna stick to these 6 here. Firstly, my least favorite new Super Mario Brothers game. Shocker! New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. Yeah, this was definitely a very polarizing port on the Nintendo Switch. The idea that they'd actually just take the Wii U New Super Mario Brothers game and bring it over instead of make a brand new Super Mario Brothers game was pretty lame. I remember myself alongside numerous other people were asking like, why not do a full new Super Mario Brothers collection? Just port all of them, you know, bundle them all into one and make this big new release. But I can tell why they didn't do it, because Nintendo has the exact same opinion of these games as we all do. They're all pretty much the same. So why make a new one, or why like make a collection of them when they're all pretty much the same? Just re-release the Wii U game and people are just gonna buy it because it's new Super Mario Brothers, even people that already own the Wii U game, like me. So it just frankly didn't make much sense to actually go and put development time into making a new Super Mario Brothers game, or to like make a big collection. So we got this. And on paper, this is fine. What this pretty much does is bundle new Super Mario Bros. U and the DLC expansion new Super Luigi U into one game. You also get a brand new playable character, Toadette, who has a specific power up to her, Peachette. That is, if you get the power up the Super Crown, you turn into Peachette. I think that was just kind of their way to get Peach as a playable character, even though Peach is, you know, at the end of the game in New Super Mario Bros. U, you have to save her in that game. And instead of putting forth all that development time to make it so then like, oh, well, maybe if you're playing as Peach in the regular adventure, maybe you're, you know, saving Mario or something. Nah, they just made this really weird genetic abomination. So that way it's just like, oh yeah, you know, like that is, you're not playing as Peach, you're playing as Peachette. Okay, but that's pretty much one of the only major things about New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe that's like truly different and something added. Overall, I think this is a spit in the face to the word deluxe, because the only thing deluxe about it is the fact that like, oh wow, we included 2 games in one, and it's just like, okay. But there was a release on Wii U, New Super Mario Bros. U plus New Super Luigi U, that just bundled both games together regardless. So this is nothing new. And on top of that, that game had a lot more features in it. You had boost mode, where you use the Wii U gamepad and you tap on the screen to add blocks, basically allowing a 5th player to play alongside people on the TV screen. You also had boost rush mode and had challenges associated with that. Where, you know, they basically utilize the fact that, oh, tap on the gamepad and we have challenges specifically for that. And they just cut all of those from this release. In addition, because Toadette is the new playable character, they cut the Blue Toad from the game, at least without like a cheat code. Blue Toad is still there, but you have to do a weird button combination to play as him. But they cut the Blue Toad in order to put Toadette in there. And because of that, when you're playing 4 players, one character always has to play as Toadette or Nabbit over there. And Toadette and Nabbit are both like easy mode characters. They both have attributes where, like, yeah, it's really easy to play as them. Toadette only has like one power-up she can get, which is the Super Crown, and turn into Peachette, which allows you to hover and allows you to get like an extra little jump. Nabbit just can't get hit. He can barely die in the game. So like 4-player mode is just inherently worse in this game. I don't know why they put that limitation where like the 4th player always has to be Nabbit or Toadette. I don't understand that. But in addition to all of that, there's the whole controversy with the fact that this game forces a new control method onto you, where if you tap the jump button twice, you do your little mid-air twirl. Now, I love that mid-air twirl move in the new Super Mario Brothers games, but here, when you double tap the jump button, a lot of times when you jump in a Mario game, you kind of hold the jump button down, and sometimes that triggers as a second jump. So you do the mid-air jump in this game a lot of the time without ever intending on doing it. And that can really mess you up. Now, you can turn that off in the form of a cheat code. You basically have to hold down like a button combination on the title screen, which makes it so then like, okay, so yeah, thankfully you can turn off that feature, but the fact that they kind of hid it so well implies this was something they wanted to force onto you. Like this was kind of like a last minute decision to give you the option to turn it off. They don't want you to turn it off. And because of that, like most of the time I just forget to turn it off. And when I'm playing and you know, it doesn't trigger the mid-air jump for a little bit, and then it does, and then it messes me up. This version of the game is worse. There's no getting around that. It has less content, it doesn't control as well, it looks a little nicer, like it does have a resolution bump, but it's new Super Mario Bros. U. Why does that matter? Overall, a couple of those are definitely nitpicks. I don't think this is like a bad way to play the game, but in my opinion, it is the worst. And like in all the advertising, how the branding looks here, they make it seem like this is like, wow, the ultimate new Super Mario Brothers experience. They have these brand new renders of Mario. They have this brand new logo that's fully gold. It has Switch Joy-Con here, which implies like, it's like, damn, this is like this big moment. Really? Following up U Deluxe is, yeah, new Super Mario Brothers U. This is one of my least favorite games in the series. It's not bad, it's just a slog to get through. This was the 4th new Super Mario Bros. Game, the 2nd that released that year in 2012. This released only a couple months after New Super Mario Bros. 2. And New Super Mario Bros. 2 got a lot of heat, just because of, you know, like how basic it was. That game was just the epitome of copy and paste, just the same thing over again, no heart, no soul, but I feel like it kind of owned up to it. New Super Mario Bros. U just kind of feels like it's just kind of making the rounds, you know, just doing everything you expect from a home console New Super Mario Bros. Game. It just feels like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but trying to like one-up it, but failing at in every way. Oh, New Super Mario Bros. Wii incorporated 4 players? Well, we're incorporating 5 players. Oh man, you brought back Yoshi? Well, how about baby Yoshis? And like everything it introduces, it can be kind of cool, but it's just like none of them really match up to what New Super Mario Bros. Wii introduced back to the series. And while this one definitely is, you know, a little more original than something like New Super Mario Bros. 2, it's not that much more original. I think at the time this came out, we were excited about the Wii U launching. This was a launch title for the Wii U. And we also had kind of a bad taste on our mouths after New Super Mario Bros. 2, kind of getting hyped up over that and then getting kind of disappointed by it in the end. So with this game, when this came out, I think we all kind of looked at it and was like, oh my god, well this is Mario in HD. This is a launch title for the Wii U. I love the Wii U. It just came out. This is so exciting. But then when I actually look at this game, like this is a game I never want to replay. It is just so boring to me. The levels just feel like they go on forever. Well, yeah, something like the flying squirrel suit is pretty cool. The baby Yoshis are pretty fun. I don't know, like, the power-ups just aren't as enjoyable or fun to me as they were in a game like New Super Mario Bros. 2. That feels like it embraced the fact that it was junk food. New Super Mario Bros. U feels like it deserves to be treated higher. It feels like this one had the veteran Mario designers on it, while New Super Mario Bros. 2 was more of like a test project where it was kind of for the younger designers to get their footing with Mario games. And because of that, this one feels like they're like, all right, playtime's over. This is the real Mario game. And because of that, I feel like it just doesn't meet my expectations so much more than a game like New Super Mario Bros. 2. These levels go on way too long. They don't have enough interesting going on in them. They don't have enough interesting new gimmicks involved with them. Anything new involved with this game, like oh man, they brought back the interconnected world map where everything's just one big world. But it doesn't really feel like that. It just kind of feels like separate world maps stitched together. In a game like Super Mario World, that entire world map, it feels like it evolves over time. Like the further you go in it, you know, like things start to make sense. You enter a cave, obviously. You exit that cave and eventually you're into a forest. Here, they still kind of follow the same Mario tropes as like World 1 is grass themed, World 2 is desert themed. And like when you go from the grass to the desert, it just kind of feels like there's like this line in the ground where it goes from grass to desert immediately. And yeah, like it doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel cool. But I must say, this is not a bad game. And overall, it's a perfectly serviceable and fine New Super Mario Bros. Game. This is just one that like I have no desire to play ever again. But oh, at least the DLC was way better. New Super Luigi U! Yeah, I vastly preferred this game to New Super Mario Bros. U, mainly because they actually did a lot different with it. It felt different. Luigi is the star here, and they give Luigi his physics that you'd expect from him. You know, he's slippery. He has a higher jump, and the jump, he kind of, you know, wiggles his legs. He kind of stays in the air longer. You know, that's the Luigi I know. But in addition to the physics changes, this game is pretty much the exact same as New Super Mario Bros. U in everything but the levels. The world map, the story, all that's the same. It just excludes Mario this time because now it's Luigi time, bitch. But the levels on the world map, when you enter that level, it's completely different. They completely redesigned these levels with Luigi's physics in mind, and also shorter level times in mind, and higher difficulties. These stages, you only have 100 seconds to blast through, and because of that, there's no checkpoints, and they are much more difficult. And with the different physics, it just gives this game a more interesting feel to me. I'd much rather play this than New Super Mario Bros. U because it's doing something different from all the other New Super Mario Bros. Games. That's why I prefer it. Like this game, I actually 100%ed in comparison to New Super Mario Bros. U because it was just more fun to do so. It was more fun to find like all the hidden star coins in these smaller, more hard levels. Like it felt more rewarding to me. New Super Mario Bros. U again felt like a slog. This one, it's definitely not my favorite New Super Mario Bros. Game, but I really prefer it to the game it was based on. Next up, it's New Super Mario Bros. 2, and honestly, I think this one gets a bad rep. I do really enjoy this one in a guilty pleasure sort of way. This is easily one of the most shameless New Super Mario Bros. Games. Just a game that knows like it has nothing new to give. There's barely any new enemies, there's barely any new anything in this game. Like if you go on like the Mario wiki and you look up like, oh, what's new in this game? Like anything that's new is just a complete variant, something from another New Super Mario Bros. Game. Like, it's just like, oh man, there's a big boo in this game. Like, that's kind of its claim to fame, the large ghost. And this one has so many problems in terms of just like what it's doing. Like, yeah, its big focus is coins. There's so many coins in this game. It's all about like, hey, can you get 1,000,000 coins? But it truly feels like they actually did not think this whole marketing gimmick or just this whole game gimmick through. Like, okay, why is there a lot of coins? Because there's a lot of coins. That's it. There's no reason. You'd expect there to be like a cool little thing like oh, Wario's greedy. He's the villain of this game. No. Oh, well, if Bowser's still the villain, like he's doing something villainous with the coins. No, there's just a lot of coins because there's a lot of coins. It's just strange because the entire game is kind of built around this concept. One of the big power-ups is the gold fire flower, where you pretty much have the Midas touch. You throw a golden fireball and it turns like everything into coins. For something that's such a big part of this game's identity, it's almost not a part of its identity. And it just feels very confused. It just kind of feels like none of like the elements introduced in this game really like connect with each other. It feels like a very disjointed New Super Mario Bros. Experience. What else do they bring back? They bring back the raccoon tail from Super Mario Bros. 3. Why? Just to do it. Like, it's even a big part of like the opening cutscene and all of that, and it's pretty much the only other power-up next to Gold Mario, which again is kind of like, it's like, okay, so your only major power-up additions in this game is a variant of the fire flower and an old-ass tail. And then the level designs themselves, you know, I'd much rather play through these levels than New Super Mario Bros. U levels, because like they just feel like they're well paced, but they're way too easy. They're way too forgettable. There's not many like actual level designs I truly am like, oh man, I remember from this game. That's a problem with a lot of New Super Mario Bros. Games, but I digress. However, like I said, this game is a big guilty pleasure game. I'm gonna be honest, it feels damn good to control this. The power-ups, collecting coins just feels good, and the power-ups like the gold flower, like it just feels awesome to use that. It's really fun to see the raccoon tail back, even if like this game isn't like fully designed around taking advantage of it like Super Mario Bros. 3 was. There's multiplayer in this game like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, even though you need 2 game cards to do it with. Like, hey, it's cool to see that included in a handheld game. It's really basic and simple, but it's just like, I feel like it owns up to that. I feel like it knows what it is, and that's what I kind of like about it. It is a guilty pleasure New Super Mario Bros. Game. It is one that I'd much rather play compared to U, even though U has more original about it. Like, I'd rather take a game that just owns up to its shit. I mean, like, this knows it's derivative as hell. New Super Mario Bros. U acts like it isn't, but it is 100%. But the one thing I really, really love about this game is coin rush mode. That actually played with the idea of the million coin thing much better than the story mode ever did, and it's all about just playing through like 3 stages in a row and just trying to get as many coins as possible, and that was where I spent so much time in this game. They even had DLC courses for that mode where you could just download like brand new courses made specifically for coin rush. And it's such a basic idea. It's just, yeah, go through these 3 stages as quickly as possible and getting as many coins as possible. But it doesn't matter. Some of the most simple ideas end up being the most fun. New Super Mario Bros. U introduced the challenge mode, and that was like the only good thing that game ever did. So yeah, I don't want to make any excuses for this game because it is really derivative, really unoriginal, but I still really do enjoy it. This is like one of the New Super Mario Bros. Games I kind of have the biggest urge to just play through again right now, just because like it's so easy to play through. It's so simple, it's mindless. You can just blast right through it. Just the way it feels, just the way the levels are designed. It just feels like the perfect Mario game for that kind of thing, you know? It's good to have mindless games. It's good to have games you don't have to think about much, but are still like well designed enough like a Mario game to just blast through, to just enjoy playing without really worrying about anything. And I think New Super Mario Bros. 2 does a good job at it. It's not the best New Super Mario Bros. Game. It's honestly one of the worst, and in my list, it's right smack in the middle, but I still feel like there's a decent enough amount to like about this game. Now, following that up with New Super Mario Bros. Wii, this one is still quite a good New Super Mario Bros. Game. But, you know, obviously, it kind of did a lot to overly sanitize the Mario brand. There's nothing inherently, like, super wacky about this one. Unlike the first game, that one had a lot of crazy ideas in it. And this one feels a lot more like it's just like flatline, this is what Mario is. But it does a lot new in the form of like, hey, up to 4 players. 4-player, cooperative, or competitive multiplayer. This was a huge deal and actually really set up Nintendo for like the next 10 plus years. This game inspired so many games that followed it in terms of just local multiplayer platforming. It kind of resurrected the home console 2D platformer in a way where it's like, hey, these can be great for local multiplayer. And I think we gotta commend this game for that. You know, it did a lot right. I will say though, the multiplayer is very hectic. It's not for everybody. I think everybody kind of looked at that multiplayer and immediately went like, oh my God, that looks amazing. I'm so damn excited to play a 2D Mario game with multiplayer. But then when we actually all played it, it was like, oh, there's a lot more variables to this than we ever thought. And I'm not sure if like they ever 100% perfected multiplayer in 2D Mario games. I think they do a lot of weird things, like whenever a player dies, they have to pause the screen, and I don't know why they have to do that. But the level design in this game, while good, like it's Mario level design, it's always really good. I feel like it's a lot more empty, and that's to accommodate for the 4 players. But you know, it's just like you can look at the screenshots here, and obviously here's some footage. But yeah, like everything's zoomed out, and it just feels like there's a lot of just space where nothing's going on. And of course, like I said, that's to accommodate the 4 players, but also the power-ups in this game, where one of the major ones is the propeller mushroom, where, you know, you just fly immediately vertically up. And I don't know, it just kind of makes this entire game feel a lot more empty. It also feels like they don't really fully take advantage of the 4-player multiplayer. Yeah, you have like a battle mode, like a coin battle mode, but that's kind of it. I just feel like they could have done like a lot more with it, but it's multiplayer mode pretty much just kind of comes down to play the game in multiplayer. And I don't know, I feel like they could have done even more than that. Even though they at least give you the coin battle mode, that's something that even Super Mario 3D World can't really say it has. And hey, I really do enjoy the power-ups here, though 2 of the power-ups just kind of feel like the same damn thing. Or you have the ice flower and the penguin suit, and the penguin suit is pretty much like you have the exact same power as the ice flower. But the ice flower is the same as the penguin suit, but you can't do like the slide on your belly like you can as the penguin. I think like your ice flower, your ice powers are not as good as the penguin, but it just kind of makes the ice flower feel like it's like what's the point of this? This is just kind of like another power up in the game, but less. But the propeller suit was really cool to see. Pretty much any Mario power up that lets you fly is immediately like really damn exciting. And overall, I feel like this is like a really well-designed game, a really great game in the new Super Mario Bros. Series. I just don't have much to say about it because it is pretty basic, but it was the second one at the time, so it's just like, that's not really like a bad thing. I think a lot of its design decisions were done because like it had to accommodate for 4 players, and it does that well. But I will say, the original will always be the best. And this isn't nostalgia based or anything. Replay this game and you will see just how cool this game is. There is so much unique about the original New Super Mario Brothers. Like I think games like Wii and 2 and U just kind of like made us feel like, oh man, all the new Super Mario Brothers games are the same. And it's just like, yeah, those ones are. This one, I think, has more value than any other new Super Mario Brothers game. I mean, like, look at all the stuff it includes. You get a multiplayer mode, just like the other games, even though it's not through, like, playing through the entire game multiplayer, but you have a multiplayer mode with the challenge mode. You have touchscreen mini games included. You have level gimmicks that have never been replicated in any other new Super Mario Brothers game. Just seeing how wacky this game can get and just how unique a lot of the enemies are, even the storyline is unique, with Bowser Jr. being the main villain and resurrecting his dad. It's just a much more unique new Super Mario Brothers game than people usually give this series credit for, and it's the one that started it all. It has some of the most unique power-ups with the Mega Mushroom, the Mini Mushroom, the blue shell. Now, I have some problems with a lot of those power-ups. I do feel like they're a little too, like context sensitive, where it's like, yeah, the Mini Mushroom, why would you actively want that, other than to access secrets? Why would you want that? The Mega Mushroom, like, as a kid, that was awesome. Like, it's on the damn box art. It's like, yep, like, look at this thing, guys. But when you use it in the actual game, it just kind of feels like as a kid, like a, oh yeah moment. But as an adult, like, I kind of look at it and I'm just kind of like, oh, there I go, just ruining all the level design. But this game has some of the most unique themes, the most unique level designs, the most unique content, just having all these extra things to do in the game. Of course, the touchscreen mini games are taken from Super Mario 64 DS, but those are some of the best damn damn minigames ever created, and they should be included in every game. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this game other than it's obviously the best one. It has the most unique content, and it just feels like it has the most passion and heart behind it. If we weren't counting Super Mario Run.